We do not have minutes from last month's meeting. I'm sorry, it's been an extremely busy month. And the next two are going to be even busier. So I would appreciate it if we could start sharing duties on things like taking minutes, maybe take turns. Everybody do them 1 week and 1 month, and then you only have to do them twice a year.
That would be fine for those of us that can write.
Okay.
Oh, wait a
Stay
minute.
the whole meeting, you guys go too
Wait a
late, I have
minute.
to get
I
home to
have
my
a
dogs.
nominee right here.
I would do it if you finish when I say I have to go.
Yes.
That's fine.
That's fine with me. I haven't eaten since 7 o'clock. I'm ready to go anytime you want. Anything new on the city website, Dan?
I have a meeting with Peter on Friday to go through the website and hopefully finalize it and get it up and live.
Okay. Newsletter articles, we did have one in the Prospect Heights Resources. I don't know if you guys are on the list. Here's a copy if anybody wants to
I'd
see
like a
it.
copy.
I can email it.
That would be nice.
Kind of thought you guys, I should have emailed it to you. I don't know why. Dana was kind enough to ask us to submit something, so.
I didn't get it either.
Peter asked for a submission for the spring newsletter. It was very short, just like 125 words. This is what I wrote. It's 160 words. He said it was too long. The mayor wanted a photo with him. I declined, so I don't know whether they will publish it or not. He's insisting that without a photo, he's not publishing anything.
Okay.
And I'm not giving him one. I see no reason why my picture has to be in a city newsletter. I'm not a public official, I'm not a public employee, and I don't have pictures and I don't like to spread them around. So we'll see.
I would agree.
Thank you.
I think all we need is our names.
I told him yes, and he can fit the extra 30 words in if he doesn't put a picture in. So we'll see. I don't know whether he got back to me today or not. Anything on the city council? Do we want
The
to?
meeting that I have tentatively held for that is the May 14th workshop meeting. The city will have had its budget adopted by then, hopefully, and there'll be a little bit of a gap for staff to be able to work that in. So right now, I have a tentative May 14th date held for that, that presentation.
Do you need anything for that?
Pictures would be nice for the PowerPoint. I know the Alderman Rosenthal had mentioned about wanting a PowerPoint presentation, so I'll certainly strive to put something like that together.
I have a lot of pictures, flooding pictures. I have a lot of other pictures, erosion picture. I mean, what?
All of those pictures, I think that, you know, any pictures that I can incorporate in will say 1,000
Okay.
words. And so I think that those would be nice. Some of the stuff that I have now are, you know, pictures of the other erosion issues and other creeks. And so it certainly would be nice to supplement those in with McDonald Creek pictures and so forth.
I have a lot, John, that I can contribute.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll just email them to you as soon as I get a chance. Anything else you need?
I think that's a good start, and I will try to put together something for the April meeting, and maybe we can have a draft for the April meeting that we can go through, and I will see if there's a way we can even.
Okay, how do you want the pictures if we have some delivered, and where, how?
An email would be, the most convenient would be an email, otherwise a flash drive. You know, if I need to do it that way, a flash drive would be fine. But I'll need it, you know, PDF, JPEG, any photo format, generally speaking, I should be able to work with.
And what email address do you want? Jan, his,
If you want to email it directly to
Billy.
the McDonald Creek Commission, and then if you want to
Okay.
just, you know, that way that they could all be in one place, and then I can, you can forward them that way or something.
okay.
Will you take photos?
Will I?
Because I have a lot, and it was before, even, and during because that's what I do. I
Okay.
don't do them through,
do you have the ability to scan them?
no, I don't.
Yeah, but I can scan if you give them to me.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be nice to be able to pick out, but I would, don't want to get buried in pictures where I have 1,000 pictures to go through and pick out. So if we could pick out the ones that are, the most representative, of what we're trying to convey, that would be helpful.
In different areas too of the creek would
Correct.
be nice too, wouldn't it? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you need them by,
Whenever I can get them. I will start putting together that PowerPoint presentation between now and the April meeting, and hopefully, if I can get them before then I can work those into the first review of that in April.
okay, so you want just flooding, or you want erosion, or you want whatever?
I think both, flooding, normal flows even, erosion issues, anything that really paints the picture of what the problems are that we see with the creek, and what we're trying to educate our public to take responsibility and ownership to.
Okay.
And even a few of the new area down at the River Trails Park District,
I
a
do-
couple of pictures of what it could look like, or what perhaps it should look like, would also be helpful as well.
I had a couple of those, okay. Okay, next, I have brochures printed. The city also bought us some gloves and a couple of trash pickers. So what time frame? When would you like to plan a cleanup day? Or do you still want to plan a cleanup day? Because, again, I'm going to ask somebody else to step up and organize that. I'm just going to be buried the next 2 months.
What do we want to do first with brochure
Well,
distribution?
we can walk, I have just divide up the creek and just walk, but we should, I think, add a flyer of a cleanup day if we're gonna have one.
Attached to it?
Yeah, which I could just run that at work.
Do we know yet
a quick
whether
deal.
they will, if we say a cleanup date, do we know how we will do that or tell residents?
Well, that's what needs organizing, coordinating with the Public Works, and whether do you want to try and do a citywide creek, or do you want to, back in the day from the stuff Mark showed me, you kind of broke it up and did
Yeah, I think-
section 1 week and one section another week.
I think it by section, because you're looking at the limited resources of Public Works. When I look at that pamphlet, and what we are trying to advocate is for the homeowners to be able to go ahead and take care of it. If you can't walk under it, cut it. And emphasize that with our refuge pickup, most of that stuff can be put into normal trash, alleviating Public Works.
Right.
I'd like to see us use Public Works for if we have big trees where, in other words, a homeowner where it's, limbs and stuff that are bigger than, let's say, 2.5, 3 inches at the largest for the homeowner to take care of. And so reserve them for those kind of specific tasks.
So you would see it as just kind of taking snapshots and forwarding, taking photos of areas and with an address and forwarding that to Public Works to take care of it another time?
Yeah, it's kind of and I'm looking at when we're talking about, somebody just mentioned about the summer thing that the city has.
In June? Community days.
Yeah, that, in addition to what you're going to be doing in front of city council, that might be the opportune time for us to have a little booth with pictures, pamphlets, and our recommendations to people who may be there on that event, that live along the creek, to ask us questions. We might be more effective that way.
Rather than going, just knocking on doors of creek owners?
Well, that will help, but I think that's up to the individual commission members. I'm not in shape to be walking up and, you know, with my sciatic, forget it. I'm just, but we could mail, in other words, in addition to the pamphlet, what I was thinking that I would do is I would just mail the pamphlet with maybe a note for myself as a neighbor in that stretch that I'm most concerned about, and say, hey, neighbor, if you have any questions, call me.
I'm not sure there's the
I would,
budget for
I would
mailing.
think we should go out door to door, much as maybe we don't all want to do that.
Because part of it was to collect
Okay.
email addresses and perhaps get some interest in participating more.
Rick and I can do Ward 2,
Right, sure.
Okay.
right?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, you know, and along with that, when we're going back to the original creek committee, we always had somebody in each area along the creek. Where right now, it's just, we're
Well,
on the
that's part
north,
of the idea.
you're on the south, and we don't have anybody in between, I believe.
Well, that's part of the idea of walking and meeting, you know, to try and maybe
Right.
recruit of someone to.
No, I'm not against the walking,
So,
I'm just saying,
But
me
we
personally,
could do that in the next, you know, week or two would be a good time, possibly.
What about
But
adding for the cleanup time, what about adding, like happened before, we'd have to rotate it with the,
we could do that, because I'm,
and tell them that if they put it out by the street, they would, for larger ones,
right,
if it's not available for trash, that pick up, that on a certain date, they would be to pick it up.
yes, that's the way.
And
the-
that's the way it worked very, very well.
okay,
And
that's,
and so you wouldn't have to do the whole cleanup time at the same time across the city, since we're short-staffed.
yeah, no,
But
that's,
to arrange with them what would be a good time. When you think of growth, we're probably talking, the first cleanup would be, let's see, end of June,
oh,
1st of July?
I was thinking before everything leaves out is the best time to do
Well,
any of
but
that.
part of the issue is you don't know that it's so bad until it leaves out. I know that's true across from me. Right now, they're just sticks.
Right,
They don't know that it'll be impeding the process, you know, the flow of the creek. But when it grows, that's when they kind of know that it's overhanging or things like that.
True, but I think if we gave them, if we went out and passed the information out and encouraged people to go look at their creek, regardless if it's growing out or not, if we give them an idea what to look for, they should be able to figure it out.
Yeah, and then do a cleanup later.
Actually, well, you could, it's a low, well, depends on the rain, but right now, low water is good. I mean, you could
Right.
get out there and actually pick up, you know, trash and various other things. It's easier to see before everything leaves out. But maybe take notes of where might be issues along the way. Sure.
I would think we would want to do a pickup before, pickup day before the middle of the summer,
Yeah, yeah,
because then people really aren't going to want to do that in the middle of summer, too.
right. They could-
Well, maybe one option is to do a cleanup day where, you know, it would really be community-wide, so the entire McDonald Creek Commission or McDonald Creek area, where they would do a cleanup in the spring now for all of the smaller branches, the normal stuff that they could put out for their landscape contractor to pick up. And then in the fall, any areas that have been identified that are larger, larger than the 2.5 inches or something like that, they would need a city to help pick up. And we try to do something in the fall to do that type of a bigger cleanup. And so that way the homeowners can, they'll have the pamphlet and the brochure. They can know what to look for. They would do a cleanup and put the small branches out for the landscape waste pickup. And then in the fall, we get a few emails from homeowners in different parts that says, this tree is too big, I can't remove it, but it's probably problematic. And then, the Public Works can kind of try to work those into the schedule and just deal with them one at a time, so to speak.
we don't have to do, we could schedule as a, April cleanup month and just ask people during the course of the month to clean up the creek area, send us pictures of any problem areas that, we would put on a list for Public Works to get to as they can.
That's a good idea.
And then you don't just have one day, you just basically and it's in conjunction with the whole Earth Day stuff going
Right.
on in April.
Right.
Just,
Agreed.
turn their attention to their backyard.
Okay, when are these pamphlets available?
They're here right now. Here's what we've got.
How many would you like?
Well, I'd like at least 20 of them.
We have, there, these, and my thought was if you were gonna have a cleanup day, I'd just, run it on a piece of paper, cut it in thirds and stick it inside. So I could get away with doing that at work.
I need 22. We need 22, Rick.
Pretty specific number.
It is, I don't know how she came, arrived at.
How about we just do a stack of at least 25? And now we also have, we got two of the trash pickers, or three of them, and then I have two that I bought like a year ago. They still are, survived the kids and all, they're playing with them, so they're, weren't bad, like $15. Stack of gloves, both sides, with the back on, and a couple of more kid-size ones. So that's small equipment. Also thought perhaps we would, the church that's by, this Somerset Park there, we have that long stretch of creek, that's park property largely.
Right,
They have a Boy Scout troop.
there you
I
go.
thought perhaps we could recruit them.
Absolutely.
Do up something, or perhaps MacArthur, somebody, the kids, school kids with the biology class or something.
That's a good idea.
So that's why the extra equipment. So, I think there's a note in there about to watch for a cleanup day coming soon. So if we can pick a time or anything, like I said, I'll just run a little thing, just throw inside. Nancy, are you?
Oh, I have one. I'm the only person that lives on my creek. I don't even know anybody, I don't even know where my creek goes besides me. I don't think Rob Roy's interested.
Oh.
They're not home.
I will take some. This is the
Right, but
section
the
of the
thing
creek
is
where
that
we
they're
don't
not gonna
have
get
any
involved in it because
That
they
section,
representatives.
okay.
have zero interest.
Is that right?
Well, is that the ward? That's still Ward 4, isn't it? Yeah, but I'm close by, it's not that,
They don't have a problem.
So you've got, Dan, you've got the, on the map here, you've got the, from this section at the bottom, is that what
Yeah, it would be,
from Bonnie Brook Drive down to,
Edward,
Edward cul-de-sac,
yeah,
Edward cul-de-sac, Edward, and
Alton.
3 houses on Camp McDonald who back up into the creek, and all of Alton.
What
There
about
are
Wayne?
21
I've
people
got like
that live on the
30.
creek.
I'm counting about 30, but then the one house is barely, a couple of them are barely there.
Like where John is, John, you're not on the creek itself, on the cul-de-sac, but
Correct.
but the people on Camp McDonald that will back up to some of those properties on the cul-de-sac, some of their properties do go into the creek. I think
Right.
there's 3 of them.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, there are 3 of them.
Okay, so we got the north end of the creek then. That, maybe up in here. Yep. Yep. Well, anybody want to meet some new neighbors?
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine if I'm.
You like to take a walk?
Yeah,
The kids like to take a walk?
Sure.
That's fine. Mine aren't old enough to walk yet, but
Oh, they're not? Oh, okay.
I actually have one due on May 12th,
In 87.
Congrats.
but before the
Side of
board
the house.
meeting, so
Oh,
All the way around.
yeah,
We'll
that's
make it
not,
work. I'm willing to take this section or something and
Is this,
go on.
what is it? Is this
Yep.
one
I don't
home?
know what that is
I'm
there.
in, on
This is
Wildwood.
the Black Walnut
Schoenbeck.
Forest, I think.
Oh, that's right, that's the Walnut
I don't know
Woods.
who-
That's Walnut Woods, there's one house at the corner,
Yep.
And I thought, Stonegate, isn't that what
and this
Right,
is that,
that's where I am. If you come in on Stonegate,
it's over there too?
it comes, it's
Oh, yeah.
the ditch that
It
runs
comes up from Buffalo Grove.
from the slough.
when you come down from Hintz Road,
That's what I do.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
willing to take
and
an area
you
that
cross the
is
bridge there.
otherwise uncovered.
Oh, never noticed.
oh, yeah, the first, like the second or third street,
It's fine.
that's McDonald Creek.
Well, I'll be.
That tributary ends up at 53 and Lake Cook Road. All water
I'll
from
take
there.
Goes that direction?
No, it's coming from,
Okay.
okay, and then continues right along Schoenbeck, and then
could take
you get to
these-
the
a
Park
whole bunch of
District where the
these
tennis
people
courts and
uninvited.
everything else are, when you're coming down
Take that
Schoenbeck Road
section.
toward Palatine.
There's a park district there?
Well,
Okay, so we need
you
to
see the
keep this
tennis
section
courts
too.
there,
Oh, okay.
okay?
Yeah,
Right along that
yeah,
edge
so these are
is
the homes on
McDonald Creek.
Palatine Road, they're really deep
And then it
lots.
goes,
Then it goes underneath Palatine Road,
Oh, and it stays underneath until it comes to my house.
makes a
and then,
direct
and
90
then
degrees.
makes the
I'm willing to
That's
do
fine,
that.
I'll do
92
that too.
turn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Once you
over there.
cross Palatine Road, the first street you make a left, it's, all their properties are backing up together. And it goes under 83 there.
We're, you know,
Over to
we're
that
passing out
park,
Bibles
which
or
is along
something,
the
but,
Palatine Park.
No,
but yeah, I'd
it's
be willing to
actually
get
north
together
of
with you and just do,
Oh, up there, Hillside.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah, so if you want to
I
give
should
us
have
a
brought my
proposal as
envelope.
well.
You know where they'll go?
Here, let me see the map for just a second. Here,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's back of there.
so when you're coming off of Hintz,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
You're gonna cross this little bridge right here. That's McDonald Creek.
Oh, okay.
Jill, you want to walk the
Then
creek?
it comes all the way through.
So these are all your names?
Where do you live
Yes.
on the?
And so which one's you?
I'm 1012.
Okay, oh my God, look at all these people.
Look at this.
Okay,
Then it turns again.
Okay,
And
wait,
it
where
goes
am
down
I?
here.
And see, this is the park, here's the
Okay,
tennis
now
courts.
I've turned left and I've come down here, so I'm not over here. Okay,
Here's the tennis courts
okay,
as you're coming along Schoenbeck,
okay.
okay?
See, I saw Stonegate and I saw Glenbrook. Okay.
Right.
And then it goes all the way down there, all the way down there. And then here's Camp McDonald. Where is Camp McDonald?
It should be over here. Right, that's East
No,
Willow.
we're
It's a
not.
little
Yeah, maybe,
further
I
here.
don't know what your schedule is
East Camp McDonald.
for
Okay, so,
weekends.
Here, and then it gets
oh yeah,
really,
big one right there?
My free time.
but nobody lives along this, do they?
Well, no, but these properties might back up.
But are they
I'm
affected by
not sure.
it?
This is
Rest
Wheeling.
of the weekends,
Oh, that's right. that's
or,
for
you
the-
know,
So
or
see,
if it
that
needs to be
comes
during the
Prospect
weekend.
Heights is down on the right. And then it comes all the way down here.
and
All the way down there.
And so here I am down here with this stupid tributary. Right here,
Here's
right here.
some right in there.
My
Otherwise, I
tributary
know I
that's
got
only this
Friday
long. And it dumps in over here.
Friday off.
oh yeah, it might be a good, for this Friday, every,
Over here.
might be a good day. A lot of people aren't working
Just don't have that water line.
Yeah, see, here,
Wait.
it connects to
this Friday. A lot of people
So
aren't
it goes
working.
from my house along
If they're
here,
not
That's fine,
traveling.
I won't be in town.
underneath
I'll
the
be-
golf
Okay.
course,
I'll be gone.
underneath all this, and comes out.
Okay,
that
I
way.
may see if I can, if it's not pouring
Do we
rain,
need
get
to-
out
This is where
there.
the-
But, you know,
We'd like to collect email addresses, if anybody you might be interested, name, or, names and email addresses if they
Which is in here.
wanna.
Where's the big pond?
Should be ready.
Do you have
We don't
the
exactly have a newsletter yet.
Well, this all flows into the creek.
phone numbers, I'm assuming, as well?
Yeah, it flows out of my creek,
If they're willing,
into the pond, and then it goes in here, so yours comes down
Email
and
would
meets
be
it, and then they go to the.
they're more likely.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want
right
to give
here
us
is
a
where the outflow
standard,
pipe is coming
a
from
standard,
down Campbell.
just like an Excel file?
big.
Yeah, right, and so
Where
which
it'd
one's
be,
you?
property address, homeowner name.
I could do that.
Okay,
See what-
That way, you're getting the same information, otherwise I might ask for something, Jan might ask for something differently, and then,
Okay,
but, it wouldn't take that long, and that way we could just make our own copies even. Or it'll be a standard form that we could fill out, so property
yeah,
address,
that's a good idea, probably
property
address,
address,
and
name,
name,
phone number, email, and whatever they're willing to share or
Email.
collect.
maybe.
Maybe-
and comments, anybody, if they have issues, or if they actually know of any already,
Right. Yep.
okay. Do you want to try and,
Creek roll in here?
you know,
That's where it goes.
do you want a blurb for us, clean up
one by-
month of April or something, or do you just want to leave it kind of loose?
Over here, somewhere in this area.
No, I would think we'd
This
do
map doesn't
clean
have
up
the tributaries.
Okay, I haven't.
the month of April, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
We've been talking about
like spring cleaning, just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is a nice map. It doesn't show the tributaries, though, we noticed.
no, he just did the main
Can
branch.
I just want to take a picture of the section that I committed to, so that,
Does the secretary need, she's saying I was talking,
We were talking, did I miss something?
did she miss something?
My last name
I'm gonna, I'll create a little spreadsheet just with the property addresses, and so you can, as you go, you can fill in like the name of, if a homeowner's name and an email address, if they're interested in,
I have all of that for them.
you may, have they moved, have anybody changed? They're still the same
There's a
people?
house for sale, there's two
Okay.
houses for sale.
And maybe comments, if they have issues they already know, or something that, a particular tree or something, or a particular log jam they know of.
Mostly erosion down our way.
isn't the house across the creek from you for sale for right now?
It is, and I'm upset. I'm turning that off. I'm a little bit concerned because at the time, they had to spend a lot of money and time for 3 weeks daily to clean that place out. And as it turned out, I went over to talk to the fella who was doing the cleaning. And I'm disappointed with myself that I did not ask him to go and cut everything down off the creek bank. Because I'm not sure that the realtor knows that they own that property to the center of the creek. So I might give the realtor a phone call without trying to be too intimidating. But I do know Wallace, who lives in Arizona too. Anyway,
Yeah,
yes, that house is for sale, but the stuff on the creek bank is pretty bad, and I don't know that Rick and I can go over there and cut it. How's your saw, Rick?
Well, certainly we'll have the opportunity to get the new homeowner, whoever that might be.
Yeah,
The tools to know what what their responsibility is, so.
I have a small, I don't know,
So you're in there,
creek's too far back for most, but I have a small electric chainsaw that's easy to use. It isn't scary.
See the direction the creek comes? Why do you think
Okay.
it's hitting that?
Okay, so I'll create a little spreadsheet, and that's just a little cleanup month flyer that you can throw inside the brochure and maybe
You would just
spelling out the Public Works number and the, I think MWRD, they can go direct, or do they
Okay, so
prefer
you-
that they go through the city for things like
now,
that?
are you gonna put that on the web, on our website? So then I can go ahead and just print up some copies of it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I'll
yeah.
try and make it like a third of a sheet, so you get 3 out of 1 sheet.
Okay.
And it'll fit inside, so you don't only have to print like 10 pages.
And at this point, it doesn't matter.
Okay, all right. Okay,
And then if you can email this to me electronically
yes,
also, so I can include this on the website
Okay.
for Peter on Friday.
think I sent that in the last email
In
I sent
PDF?
you. Yeah,
Okay.
but if not, okay, one more thing, Lower Des Plaines River Watershed Plan that they talked about last meeting. Is anybody interested in attending their meetings? They're during the day. The next one's May
May
10th
10th.
in North Lake. They are open to the public. I've been to the Upper Des Plaines River Watershed Planning meetings, some of them, but I'm not available during the day anymore.
I can make a commitment to go to it if necessary. I also have been to the Upper Des Plaines River ones and the Lake Michigan ones previously.
Is that similar to what they described?
Well, they're
Your
doing,
last
they're doing the planning, you know, which a lot of it is bureaucratic kind of stuff, but when they after they put together the plan and get it approved, and they go through, it's usually about a year-long process of creating this plan, then you're eligible for grants and stuff like that. But they're also looking for the problem areas with it to include in the plan for action items, things like that. So if with your history of knowing of problems on the creek, are you available to
I'll
go to
try,
this?
I'll check my schedule, Kathy.
Okay.
I'm
All right,
pretty,
yeah, check
I'm
with
pretty
me.
busy, but I will check my schedule to see.
See, yeah, we've got enough, I'm not sure exactly what time it is, I'll have to look it up, but I think they go about 2 hours.
Yeah, just for history, originally, it was the Des Plaines Watershed Plan. But that was too big, because that goes all the way, I think, to Kenosha, starts in
Yeah.
Kenosha County.
Yeah,
And then eventually they split it into the upper and the lower. And the upper being mainly preserving wetlands and things like that, where all the physical work, construction type projects were in the lower Des Plaines.
yeah, like Riverside and Des
Right.
Plaines, and, right. Yeah. So, we're kind of in the middle,
We're right in the middle.
but between the new Buffalo Creek, the new reservoir up there in Wheeling, where Buffalo Creek comes in,
Right.
and the levee, there should be some big changes.
The meeting is from 10 a.m. to 11:30 on
Okay.
May 10th.
Thank you. That's a Tuesday or something, isn't it?
Wednesday.
What day is it?
I think maybe it's a Thursday.
Yes, I
Thursday?
thought it was a
Okay.
Thursday.
May 7th is a Monday.
Thursday, all right.
What are you whispering about?
Anybody have anything else?
Okay, no, I just want to, you're saying what you wrote here, they didn't want to put on the website because it was what, too long?
Well, it was it's like 160 words, and he wanted 125, but I mean, I could cut a
Well,
sentence out.
you could, you know.
But mostly, he didn't want it without a photograph.
Ah,
And I sent him a photo of the creek, and he said the mayor was insisting on,
because if you wanted to shorten it, I mean, all you needed, you could just take all our names off
yeah, I could shorten it.
and shorten it, because I think it's very well.
It didn't seem to be the issue. And I don't post photos. I don't take selfies, I don't see any good reason why they need a
No,
photo for this.
I understand.
So,
You could do a group shot with us all turned around.
a group shot I do, but, you know, so, anyway, we'll see if they refuse because of lack of a photo, we may escalate this, just because.
Do we need to
We could
notify?
maybe put Larry Rosenthal's picture there, right?
That's right.
Do we need to notify Joe or the city that we will be going out and distributing these brochures, or do they understand that that was our intention with those?
Yes, they
Just so
did
that-
understand
so
that.
they get, if they,
Yeah.
because, likely what will happen is that somebody will call and ask and make sure that we're not
I
a
will,
scammer that's
okay.
trying to get into their house or into their backyard to look at their creek. So just wanting to make sure that none of us are gonna be arrested for trying to do the right thing, so.
Yeah,
That
okay.
might be a good issue for the city, the city news,
Do we know when the newsletter is going out?
No. May, I think.
So we're gonna be
because
going.
I think more people probably read or get that email.
Well, we could, but they send a weekly email, we could get our,
Yeah,
on
then,
there.
then that's certainly something I think you're raising a
So
good
that,
point. if we-
homeowners would be aware that possibly somebody,
So then we would just, so I guess I'm meeting with Peter on Friday, like I said, so I can bring it up to Peter on Friday to ask him to include it in the e-brief.
Yeah.
Likely not the one this Friday, because I'm sure he'll have had it put together by then, but maybe the one for the following week to just say that the McDonald Creek Commission members are gonna be going door to door for homeowners living along the creek with a brochure and pamphlets and gathering information for property owners, and that way they can see it in the e-brief before we knock on their doors.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Did anybody get a chance to call their alderman and see if there was any particular issues or? I didn't, okay.
that I forgot to do.
Hello? Hello? No, the library's across the street. Oh, I'm sorry. Anything else? Next meeting,
Wait, Jill has something to ask.
Jill, I'm sorry, Jill. We're gonna be official.
Well, I have to because it's being recorded. So I'm Jill Moskell with the Prospect Heights Natural Resources Commission, and I'm here twofold on behalf of the commission. We would like to invite the McDonald Creek Commission to our special workday on Sunday, April 22nd. That is Earth Day, and from 9 to 12, we're planning special things for our group. And also will be inviting the Poplar Creek Prairie Stewards. They're part of the Nature Conservancy. And we will also provide lunch. But we thought we wanted to start collaborating with you, particularly with your plans to start doing restorative work on the creek. So just kind of like a get-together, get to know. You don't necessarily have to work, but, more hands make light work.
Okay.
And we're also going to have tours.
So Sunday, 4/22?
426.
426.
Workdays start at 9. It will be at Dana and Agnes's home on 9 West Marion, which is just off of Elmhurst Road. And they're right there by the slough.
The workday's gonna be at the slough?
Well, they're right there, but the tours will be around the slough. But mostly it's for us to get to know you, get to know each other, and to work together.
Okay, is this potluck?
No, we're providing lunch.
You said the
And what time?
22nd. Thank you.
22nd.
9 a.m. to 12 noon.
That's a Sunday?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and then where are they gonna do the work?
We meet at Dana and Agnes's home, 9 West Marion.
Right, I got that.
And we'll be doing some transplanting there. We may have some special speakers if we can get them lined up. So different things happening throughout, but when we say workday, it's our scheduled workday, but just to have a fun time together.
Which Poplar Creek folks are coming?
Poplar Creek Prairie Stewards, they're part of the Nature Conservancy. They're
Which,
in Hoffman
which,
Estates.
Steve Flexman, or?
Right, exactly.
Okay, oh,
Yeah, so we're going to be inviting them too.
okay.
And I also wanted to mention, I think you're familiar with the Water Committee. Bob Corvus is the
Mhm.
chairperson.
Mhm.
And, like Nancy, you were mentioning Rob Roy, Kay that's on the committee lives in Rob Roy. And this is all I think about is increasing awareness. So I think if we all worked together, we would be more effective as a group and get the word out and help each other out.
Is the water committee strictly focused on well water?
No, that's one of the subcommittees. SSA is a subcommittee of the Water Committee, and the well water.
And I thought they only had the two, one looking for the SSA and one improving well water.
Right, but there's the Water Committee and then the two subcommittees.
Okay.
But the Water Committee itself is water, period, our most precious resource. So if there's some way we can all work together, have extra hands, it doesn't hurt to reach out and say hello.
Okay.
Just a
thanks.
suggestion.
Thank you.
Hope to see you then.
Okay, thank you. All right. Anything else? Next meeting would be
I've got it here, April 23rd.
23rd.
No, that doesn't make sense. If she said Sunday's the 22nd, right?
It'd be the 24th then?
Oh,
That's what I'm
excuse me,
thinking.
I was thinking Monday, sorry.
Okay.
Good thinking.
What, tell them I had to get out of here so the meeting lasts shorter?
She ran out of paper.
I had to annex.
All right. I will try to get those old minutes done before soon. After the school,
Do we need a
after the
a
school
motion to
paper,
approve them?
after the first communion letter, after the newsletter, after the,
I understand.
yeah.
We're here
Motion
to
to,
help any way we can.
motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Thank you.
Second.
We are adjourned.